Hey, dentist owners, Steve Parker, and we're here for a little special edition. I've got two amazing guests, friends from the industry, Debra Engelhardt-Nash and Dr. Susan Maples. They are actually on site at, and I have to read this, Fort Lauderdale Marriott Coral Springs Hotel and Convention Center. And they're going to tell us about APDP, which has had a name change. They're going to explain what that is. And then at the end, we're going to tell you about the annual meeting of the Academy of Private Dental Practices and why you should go. I've been before. It is a meeting unlike anything in dentistry. It's fun. It's enjoyable. It's comfortable. Susan's going to tell you she's been for, I don't remember, 2 or 3 years. She'll tell you here in a minute. It just is
for me.
it's a neat organization, a neat meeting. So how are you guys doing today?
We're excited. We're excited. So we came here for our site visit to get ready for our meeting coming up March 7th, and very encouraged about the space and what an amazing content-filled program that we have coming up in March. So
plus lots and lots of fun and great food. So we've been filling in all the details.
Yeah, we're doing, getting ready for the details.
And we'll talk about a little bit of that here in the next minute or two. I mean, it is a full schedule and an amazing
13 speakers in 2 days.
I kind of feel like the whole vibe on meetings right now is getting some shorter meetings in there, some shorter messages in there, like TED Talks, TED style talks. So we've packed it. We have some great meaty keynote speakers, but also some really nice quick bursts on things that you'll want to know.
What struck me about the meeting and the organization, which I'd like you to, maybe that's where we'll start, was it was a lot of meetings you go to, there's a lot of clinical, and there's a lot of things that, I mean, it's sort of like heavy duty stuff. And as a private dentist owner, as again, somebody who went to dental school and owns a business, this always struck me as a meeting of just good people getting together. There's somebody just like you in Missouri that is fighting the same fighting the same battles, fighting PPOs, trying to figure out how to find new patients, got a big DSO that opened up on the corner. And this always felt like a really good group of just, people who graduated from dental school and own the practice. So that's what I liked about it. And I kind of like to start there with APDP has only been the name, Academy of Private Dental Practices, for a year, right?
It's the Academy for Private Dental Practice.
Academy for
Dental Practice. Okay. And the name before that had become a misnomer years and years ago, 60 years old. It was called the American Academy of Dental Practice Administration, otherwise known as ADPA.
ADPA, American Academy of Dental Practice Administration.
But administration at those days was when secretaries were called secretaries. Then they became practice administrators, and people got confused about our names. So anyway, it is all about promotion of private dental practice. I started going in 1994, and I can tell you I've only missed 1 year in all of those years. And if anyone who knows me personally knows, this academy alone has been the single biggest contributor to my success, because I finally met people who were courageous and creative and able to create the practice of their dreams and not be cookie cutter. So the whole idea, if you are interested in wild success in private practice, whether it's a niche practice or just becoming very profitable at the practice you are in, this holds all the keys to personal and professional development in terms of leadership, of really becoming the best dentists and leaders that we can be.
Yeah, I think, in fact, we were talking about this earlier. My husband, is funny because I've been a member since 2002. And my husband, Dr. Ross Nash, always came as my guest. And finally he said, Debra, I want to join the organization. And I said, wow. And he said, because first of all, I want to collaborate. I want to give back. But we also talk about, why do we go to this meeting? And one of the things that Ross tells his colleagues, and I feel the same way, this is where we go to be refueled and refired and re-energized, because not only do we have the leaders in the industry that everyone knows their names, I think it's sort of like the cheers, so we do
Mhm.
have those people, but then we have people outside of the industry
Yeah.
where for personal development. But I mean, I have met people, Reverend Schuler has been a speaker, Gary Zaleski's been a speaker, the POW, Waldo, the wingman. I mean, we have business leaders who come in as well and teach not only business, but then we also have people who specialize in personal development. So we really want to create a balance for our attendees and for our colleagues who come to the meeting. So
Mhm.
we don't want it to look like a typical dental meeting. We never designed it to be a typical dental meeting.
We learned so much from outside the industry. For instance,
Yeah.
one of our keynotes this year is Todd Williams, who is
Yes.
Four Seasons acclaim, right? He was head of
Love Todd. I've seen
Four
him
Seasons.
speak. He's amazing.
Yes,
Yeah.
and if you want to know how to hire people and train people the Four Seasons way, I mean, there's so much transferable, applicable,
Yeah.
skill development. And I love what Ross said, because here's what I think. You can't pour from an empty vessel. We need to fill up our
Yeah.
own vessel to
Yeah.
to go home energized to be the best leaders we can
Yeah.
be.
And
Yeah.
there are a lot of meetings. There are a lot of, with what I do, I see all of them. So there are a lot of meetings. And they tend to be, I think cookie cutter is a good word to put it. They
Yeah.
tend, no matter what they do, the meeting is the same people. It's kind of cookie cutter. Not that they're not enjoyable and we don't love them, we don't like going, but I feel like you get less from the meeting. And I also feel like there are a lot of meetings these days. There's a lot of DSO meetings. Everybody's still into DSOs. And so you got to think, gosh, what am I missing out on? Well, you're probably not missing out on much, but they're over the head of the average dentist owner. Somebody, again, who went to dental school, wants to run a good, solid practice and be an entrepreneur, but doesn't feel, they almost feel like I need to go back and get an MBA to understand what's happening. And what I was struck by at the meeting and with the organization is it brings it down to the good, solid, my audience for the Profitable Dentist magazine is dentist owners. They may have an associate, they may have 2 or 3 associates, but for the most part, it's solo practices. And, they don't want to go to a meeting and with a bunch of MBAs and wear a tie and talk about EBITDA. They want to talk about the nuts and bolts of running a dental practice. And that's kind of what you hear.
I mentioned to you that I started coming here in 1994. It was the year I graduated with my MBA. And when I came here, I learned more about leadership in private practice than I learned in my MBA. Now, I learned a ton. I'm not diminishing my MBA experience, but we're talking about practical hands-on and looking at yourself in terms of this industry. When we bring in people from outside of the industry to teach us what they know, we see the world through a different lens.
Yeah.
And it really sets us aside and gives us a more competitive advantage in today's private practice.
I think sometimes one of the things I've often said, I say it sometimes in my programs, that back in the day they talk about, and I know you're kind of in horse country. They talk about breeding a horse stupid, or they talk about breeding a dog stupid, and that means they've overbred that. Like Irish setters for years were talked about. Oh my gosh, we bred that breed stupid. We overbred them, and I think sometimes if we go to the same meetings and we listen to the same people and the same subject matters all the time, we kind of breed ourselves stupid. So we want to break away from that and say, you know what, we want to create content. We want to create programs that you would not hear or see at a different dental meeting. Absolutely intentional diversion from dentistry per se. But once again, to be a better leader, to be a better person, to be a better parent, to be, a better friend, a better spouse. So we truly try to encompass it all. And I think we do. I'm really excited about every program I've attended. And I think I missed one and I had a really great excuse because I had a brain tumor. So that was the only time I ever missed.
You get a pass. Yeah.
That was my pass.
So here's another thing that intrigues me about your meeting is, and I asked you guys this before. So normally what happens, you see a group, you're interested, and it's the American Academy of whatever. You got to join it. You got to do some stuff. And then you get to go to their annual meeting and it's kind of the same people, same exhibitors, same whatever. You literally do that backwards.
We don't want you to join until you get to know us.
Right. That's what I think is so cool. This
Come as a
meeting is
guest.
a chance to network, meet people, again, just like you that are 5 states away, fighting the same fights, struggling with insurances, struggling to find employees, struggling with leadership skills, struggling with whatever it is you're struggling with as somebody who has a dental degree and is, clearly smart enough to be a dentist and good enough to get a license, but fighting odd business junk that you never thought of or don't want to know. You want them to come to the meeting to get to know you and then join the organization, right?
Right.
And you cannot hide here. This is an intimate meeting.
Yeah.
We will surround you with love, and there's probably a lot of hugging going on. You have to wear
Yeah.
a no hug sign if you don't want any.
And we do some really fun things because I'm all about fun. I should have been a party planner in my next life. I'm going to be a party planner. So we do a wine pull and we do, so you bring a bottle, you buy a bottle. We have an amazing group of dentists who are members here. They are all instructors at the University of Nebraska. Some of them happen to be endodontists. So they have a band called the Raw Nerve. I'm telling you, and Susan will vouch for this.
Fabulous.
You think you are in a Earth, Wind, and Fire Chicago Journey concert. When Steve Pazar starts to sing, you're thinking, where'd that come from?
And this year we're doing an 80s theme.
Yeah.
So we're going to do big hair wigs and
Yeah,
people come in costume.
So we like to have
It's
fun.
super
I mean,
fun.
we like to, we kind of like to reward ourselves with having a good time. We have cocktail times, we have a silent auction. I guess there's some great trips that are coming up in our silent auction this year that you can
There's-
bid on. So
There's a
we like
bourbon basket, I know.
we have a bourbon basket.
Bourbon
We're gonna
basket.
we're gonna do baskets from each section of our country.
Mhm.
It's so these people not only like to learn together, they like to play together,
I think you learn as much in the off time as you
Yeah,
are in the
I
on
mean-
time, although the program is super
yeah.
content rich.
I mean, I remember Dr. Maples and I sitting down one time after a session, and I think we spent 2 hours just talking about business and management and
Mhm.
and how we shift and how we grow. And that's what happens here. It's like, hey, can we go sit out on the terrace and have a glass of wine together?
I
And
kept telling my friends as a young dentist, this is where I go to get all my free consulting. And it's
Yeah.
really not free, but you make friends with
Yeah.
these people and then you learn everything they know.
yeah,
I can't tell you, I could go on for an hour just on the ways that this organization has changed my life.
Oh, and things that people learned 30 years ago the hard way, they're sharing with somebody who's going through it right now after, owning their practice for 7 years or 8 years or
And
10.
the contemporary issues we face right now are just numerous, but we can't seem to hang on to people. The corporations are building bigger and bigger packages to try to attract more people because it's not as nice a work environment, but we're competing with that. So how do we continue to develop our people such that they'll never want to leave? I mean, these
Yeah.
are questions that perplex
Right.
us, and this is where you learn it.
Well, I've always said, and even, and I speak to DSOs, and I'll say there are a lot of you who just aren't cut out to be an entrepreneur. You're a better employee. However, on the flip side, there are people, myself included, I would be a terrible employee. I've never been an employee. So I would be a terrible employee. I know it. I like to have the freedom to do what I do. And there is a big streak of that in dentistry, has been since it started, decades. But learning those skills, if you were a dentist in the 60s or 70s, dental insurance didn't exist, DSOs didn't exist. Marketing was pretty darn simple.
the internet didn't exist.
And
Yeah,
MBA
internet
owning dental practices didn't exist either.
Yeah,
So,
you didn't need
yeah.
to know it. You were a dentist, you stuck a sign up, patients came in and life was good. That's blown up in the past 2 or 3 decades. So you can still be a really successful, profitable practice owner as a dentist, but you just have to be smarter about how you do it and intentional. And I think if you do it wrong, that's where the stress comes from. The anxiety of, dentists have a lot of high negative, divorce rates and bankruptcy rates and suicide rates. I don't think it's dentistry at all. I think it's running the practice. And it
Oh,
gets harder and harder.
absolutely.
And this is
Absolutely.
a great place. I guarantee you, which again is what struck me, is everybody there is in the same boat. They have been through it. And it seems like a good environment where you can say, man, I'm just getting beaten bloody. I'm taking more PPOs, getting more patients. I'm seeing 20% more patients than last year and making 30% less money. I don't even know what's happening. I promise you. Number one, there's probably
People,
a speaker who's
when I
going to
got
talk
started
about it.
consulting, people didn't know what EBITDA was. They
Right.
didn't talk about that.
They didn't
Yeah.
need to.
But we are going to talk about that. I mean, we've got some great, I mean, my gosh, we've got Pam Sutton and Alan Schiff talking about practice transitions, because whether or not I'm getting ready to sell my practice or whether I'm getting ready to buy my practice, how do I do that in today's world? And how do I find another private practitioner to do that? I mean, so
We also have someone talking about dental school debt and how do
Yeah.
we as as senior dentists who are trying to help these younger dentists buy into private practice, and how does a younger dentist grapple with that and paying for a practice? We have some amazing financial people here.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
better to learn that, I think, from somebody who's done it, another dentist owner, than again, an MBA who's standing up front and assuming you know all these acronyms and when they say 30 years, moving average P&L, EBITDA, blah, 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 and everybody in the room is thinking, am I the only one who doesn't know what the heck this
Sure.
person's talking about?
Yeah.
You're not. Nobody knows, but nobody says it. And this is a
Right.
meeting where somebody, I can imagine a dozen people I met last year at the meeting who are comfortable enough to just say, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. And
Right.
you can feel it in the room. Everybody says, oh, thank goodness. My dental degree didn't teach me this. And I'm afraid to sound like I don't know what I think I
Yeah.
should know, but you're
I'll
not.
tell you, this is a sort of this is a no judgment zone with these people.
For sure.
Mhm.
They're truly oh, gee, if you could only be, you're rubbing shoulders with like-minded people, with collaborators, with colleagues.
When I think back on, people like Ross Nash and Tom McDougall and some of these people that have climbed great heights. When I
Mhm.
was a young dentist thinking, oh my gosh, I'm standing among giants and they are so humble. I mean, it was just an amazing experience to call them my friends and mentors. And now, of course, I'm a mentor. So,
Yeah.
this is how it all happens.
So once I come to the meeting, I'm a dentist owner. I come to the meeting and I say, this is kind of my, I don't like using overused words, but this is my tribe. These are my
This is my
people.
groove. This
I
is my
feel
groove.
comfortable. Yeah,
Yeah.
these people are me. When I join, what does APDP do for me sort of once I've joined for the rest of the year? Kind of what can I expect as a member?
Well, I think the expectations, or I should say the obligations, are low. This typically has been an academy around a significant meeting, but we are developing all kinds of internal
Yeah.
pathways to success as
We're
well.
looking at, quarterly webinars with
Okay.
members and or guest speakers. We're also looking at
Okay.
creating some a buying group for our members. We've already
Okay.
talked to some of the businesses who've said, absolutely, we will give your members a special discount for being a
Okay.
part of the academy. So we're looking at that as well. And
think-
yeah,
And
so
you can't discount the fact that you walk away with personal cell phone numbers of the consultants that are the
Yes.
best.
The community.
Or other dentists
Yeah.
who are successful, right? The people you'll meet here, like you've just heard of them, or you maybe, find out they have, can I just take your number and text with you? So it's pretty
Yeah.
amazing how close this group becomes in terms of
yeah.
willingness to give back.
I mean, I will tell you, there's several times that some of the members will say, Deborah, I have a quick question, and they'll text me a problem in their office, and I answer it. I'm a member.
Mhm.
I give back. And that's the other thing about this organization. We all truly believe in giving back.
And I think I get,
It's genuine.
yeah, we had talked before about content for my magazine. And I like to find dentists who have, so what's interesting is if you, we put out a call for articles to like your membership and just say, anybody have any little thing they've discovered over the years, a little technique, a little something that they just do that they'd like to share? It is surprising all these things that suddenly pop out that for us, become an article, then suddenly I start getting emails that say, this is genius. We should have known this I wish I'd have known this 10 years ago and would have saved me all this time and trouble.
You like Ross's little seating groove for veneers? People
Yes.
go, oh my gosh, why didn't I think about that? Seating
Absolutely.
groove.
And you'll learn those little things. And Ross learned that, the hard way, by doing it, and thinking, I do the same thing. I'm laying there in bed at 4 a.m. thinking there's got to be an easier way. And you go in and try it. And what do you know? It works. Well, the cool thing about this, and, literally why we exist is those dentist owners sharing that with a group. And suddenly, what they say, a rising tide lifts all ships. And that's what your organization feels like.
That's who we are.
It's comfortable, it's networky, and you're right. You leave with a lot of cell phone numbers that you can text and say, hey, I'm struggling with this. You ever seen this? And I promise.
Well, let's face it, the three of us here and those who are listening, there are a lot of dental meetings. There are a lot of dental meetings. And sometimes you have to pick and choose. Can I go to all of them? I can't go to all of them. But this is the one meeting that Ross and I always mark our calendars. We don't miss this meeting.
I don't either.
We do not miss this meeting. This is one that we won't miss.
Absolutely.
Well, and like I said, I appreciate you taking the time. Anything that, as far as the organization, the meeting, there's a wine pull and there's a great auction. There's golf there. In fact, I saw there's pickleball. There's kind of
did pickleball this morning.
Yeah, it was great. Great to be here. I think just to know that there's about 120 to 130 people coming. So
it's
an intimate meeting, which is so cool because again, it's a different vibe than you would get. I know that you see all kinds of speakers on there, but I just want people to think it's like 1,000 people and you're lost in a sea. We have the whole facility here. So again, it's just much more intimate than you normally would see at a dental.
And that's, again, what's, sort of by design that we don't ever want to get so huge. I mean, what is it? Women in DSO have 750 people coming to their meetings. I mean, then we get a little bit lost. Chicago Midwinter is a great meeting. It's a different meeting. I mean, there's thousands of people.
SmileCon.
SmileCon. It's different.
Yeah.
This is, here it is. Okay, here it is. This is sort of like you could go to a major hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could also go to the boutique hotel. You could shop at Target or you could shop at your little boutique down the street. It's not that they're both not viable. They're different. So this is sort of that boutique meeting, if you will.
Well, you also, I think of it like but go to Midwinter every year and you bring home notes from a lecture and brochures from exhibitors. This meeting, you bring home new friendships, new relationships.
This meeting, you bring home enrichment.
Yeah. Well, we've got, so it is March 7th through the 9th again, it's a big long one, Fort Lauderdale Marriott Coral Springs Hotel and Convention Center. And we're going to put a link below on how to just look. I know, Susan, you were saying there's a video that you guys did, that APDP did, to kind of let people know the organization, introduce them to the organization and the meeting.
APDP.net, it shows right up. It's I'm the meeting chair this year, so I'm commentating the little video.
Okay.
But I will say that when you click on that link, you'll be on our website as well. So the first video that you see right in front of you is the meeting itself, and it's just a few minutes. And I would encourage you to come and to bring a friend. This meeting typically is attended by spouses or partners with you who may not be in dentistry at all, because people like to learn together. And again, there's so much personal enrichment that it's nice for partners to grow together.
Yes.
I know last year there was a speaker on the DISC assessment. And my wife came, and, and a lot of dental meetings are, the doc is sitting in the meeting listening to a 4-hour lecture on atraumatic extraction, and the spouse is just not. Because they're thinking, oh, this sounds like a fun meeting. That's exactly what I want to do for my entire morning. But my wife went with me. Paula went with me, and it was very hands-on. He literally put a disc on the floor, and you had to stand in if you don't know what the disc is.
I remember, yeah.
It's a personality thing. but we walked away sort of saying, wait a minute, you're a high I and a low whatever. It sort of helped us understand each other the same way you might understand your team a little better, and you might understand your patients a little bit better and how to interact. And that was sort of a cool thing that was non-dental at a dental meeting.
But a really cool thing we're doing this year as well, for those who don't want to go into the dental environment, we're doing a significant other luncheon with Ryan Vett, and it's a wine tasting luncheon.
Ryan, my SCN, you know.
Yeah.
So Ryan Vett is doing, not only is he doing our keynote Thursday evening, but then Friday morning, he's doing a wine paired lunch and wine tasting lunch for the significant others and or spouses who would much rather sit out on the terrace with Ryan than come to the meeting.
And we generally try to have a clinical speaker. This year, our clinical speaker is a world-renowned speaker, Rob Lustig, who's not speaking about dentistry, he's speaking about metabolic health and the challenges of staying healthy, avoiding ultra-processed food.
Mhm.
Again, personal development, but also putting that in the context of corporate wealth and, you know, where we are with health in general in our country.
Yeah.
And we have the ADA president, Brett Kessler. He's not
Mhm.
speaking about being an ADA president.
President-elect, yep.
He's president-elect, but he's speaking about the significant emotional occurrence he had in his life and how he recovered from that. Pretty
That's
amazing.
really cool. Again, you get to meet the ADA president, rub elbows, pull a bottle of wine, and yes, Ryan. In fact, I happen to have my SCN cup here for Ryan. I get a penny every time I take a drink.
Do you?
Kind of
No.
recording from SCN.
You
No,
never offered
Ryan,
that to me.
if you want to know about,
One of those.
Ryan is your guy. He keeps it kind of quiet, but have you ever watched him do a wine tasting or kind of
yes.
wine? It's phenomenal. So if you like wine, it's one of those guys. I used to think this was fake. You know, somebody would drink wine and say, oh, it's got a little bit of, I don't know, cardamom and black currant, and it comes from the something region of France. And you think, yeah, they're just making that up. It's real, and Ryan can do it. It's very fun
I will
to
very
watch.
briefly, this is not about Ryan, but he did a Zoom meeting one time, and y'all asked us all to bring a bottle of a glass of wine with us. I brought a bottle because that's me. But he said, bring a glass of, and he could guess. He chose one person, and based on what she was describing in her glass, he guessed what she was drinking.
It's freaky. So he's fun. He knows his things.
Doing our opening keynote. So if you're going to come, be sure and be there by 5 o'clock when the bar opens on Friday night, and be there for Ryan's opener, 5:45 to 7.
He is, yeah. His keynote is going to be incredible. He's an amazing, brilliant human being.
Yeah, good, and just a good guy.
And a good guy. And a good guy. And married to a dentist.
Yeah. So anything else that listeners should know? It really is a great meeting. And I think you intentionally try to, as you said, keep it comfortable and intimate, not a big blowout, overdone meeting. If you're a solo practice owner, I mean, this is your organization, and it is a great meeting to go to.
I think
anything
if you want
else
to feel
we've forgotten?
supported, if you want to feel supported in your profession, this is where you would want to be.
Yeah. So I hope everybody listening at least goes to apdp.net, checks it out, checks Susan's video.
If you can't make it this year, next year
rock star.
Tucson, fabulous
March,
hotel, fabulous. We've already got the program lining up.
It's always the first week of March.
It's going to be an incredible program. That's already, in the works as well.
First weekend.
Well, I know that I've felt over the last few years, you guys have done an amazing job sort of bringing this forward and taking, when did it start again? It's an
over 60 years ago.
Yeah. It was one of the very first dental organizations. You've done a really good job of pulling it forward into the, I know we're 24 years in now, but the new millennium and kind of the new world of dentistry, and recognizing the challenges that solo practice owners and private dentists have. So I think that's pretty cool. So, all right.
We do have a nice hybrid of mature doctors who've been in dentistry a long time and new doctors coming in and being mentored. So it's really a nice hybrid.
Fun to watch that.
It's fun to watch.
Well, I also, just to sort of, as we wrap it up, I noticed last year that there was a guy, and I wish I could remember his name. I should have looked it up before we talked. he retired from dentistry 20 something years ago. And he had to be well into his 80s, maybe 90s. And he just enjoyed, you could see 2 or 3 or 4 young docs just standing around listening to everything he had to say. And I think, and he said, yeah, I haven't practiced for this long, but I just love coming to this thing.
I
So
think
he's
probably
sort
Dr.
of the,
O'Connor, don't you think?
I don't know. There's so many. I
I
can
cannot remember. I'll find it. I'll find it. We'll put it in the show notes. But
Yeah.
Okay.
very, just an awesome gentleman who was there to share. He wasn't there
They
to get
were.
in.
Oh, I know who it was.
There to
Oh,
get.
come on. It was Arlette Dunsworth.
Yes, yes.
Oh, he's amazing.
They were my permission givers. These men were my permission givers. As a young female dentist, I bought a practice at 25 years old. Can you believe
my.
that? Right out of dental school. And I got really bored. 7 years of drill and fill dentistry. I said, I'm out of here. I just finished my MBA. I was just about to leave dentistry when I went to this meeting. And I literally felt like I went to the mountain and Moses delivered the tablets. I was surrounded by courage and wisdom and creativity and permission. And I went like, wow, I could actually create something amazing. And these guys were there to share not just their successes, but their pitfalls. And they were there to support me, which was an amazing gift. I will be forever grateful.
Well, the cool thing is in 1983, do you know what the percentage of graduates from dental schools were that were women?
Oh, low. And
Oh,
now it's over
I
65%.
3%.
3%.
So you came into this at a time when, it had exploded to like 4. And now it's well over half. We'll probably, this year, we'll probably find out it's 57%. So if you're a young female dentist owner and struggling, this is a great place to find that mentorship. And
Absolutely.
yeah,
And we have a women's dental mastermind group. So the women meet in separate from that. And I'll
Yeah.
also tell you one of the things that Dr. Maples did in not last year, but the year before. And maybe she did no, I think she did 2 years in a row. We have young doctors who come in intentionally and she takes them to dinner and says, let's have dinner. Let's
it's wonderful.
let's sit and talk. So I think about, a couple of our young doctors who came last year and they sit with her and have dinner and she talks about what she did to build and grow her very successful practice and her very successful career.
Plus, we're both bringing our teams this year.
We're bringing our teams.
Okay. And so I think that's, it's a cool meeting. It's a
very cool meeting. And we're excited.
We're excited. We'll see you there.
This is like a residential hotel. We're going to be together because there's not a lot of distractions. We're not by Disneyland. We're not going to Disney World. We're here together to learn, to grow, to have fun, to drink a little wine, frankly.
Well, so dentist owners, I think you get the message. You just need to go and definitely check it out, apdp.net. Watch the video, learn about the organization. If you're a private dentist, there aren't a lot of things that are directed at you anymore. I see it every day. There is so much momentum around sell to a DSO, join a DSO, find a group. You almost feel like it's impossible to be a solo practitioner anymore. And it's not. You just have to
give up so much to do that. You give up your autonomy, your profitability. Like you got to reclaim that. It's private practice is where to be.
Yeah,
it is. And again, I would make a terrible employee. And
so would my husband.
I enjoy being
but there's room for all. There's room for all.
Yeah.
We just happen to, this happens to be that niche arena for people who are dedicated to private practice dentistry or who want to perpetuate private practice dentistry and say that 3 times fast.
And by the way, we have a couple of young people who are working for DSOs coming here because they want to be in private practice.
They want to get out.
And we have one young woman coming who's in the military who wants to be able to have a private practice now and doesn't know how to do it. So you don't have to be in private practice to come to this meeting.
I hear a lot of that, the transition. And they graduated, worked for, we won't name any giant corporate names, but, they worked there for 3 or 4 or 5 years, paid off a student loan. And if they were smart enough, they kind of paid attention to how the business ran. The big DSO ran, the 750 office group ran. And they said, this is neat, but I think I want to do my own thing. Here's that place. But I hear a lot more, which I'm thrilled at. a lot more that want to transition out. They learned what they want to learn. They're now out of dental school debt. But when they get into practice, they want to get into it the right way, the smart way, the profitable way. So, I think it's great what you put together here. So
Thank you. Thank you.
Debra
pretty proud
Engelhardt-Nash, yeah. And
proud
so
of
you're going to go play golf, or because you're at the resort, right? You're at the hotel.
We're both heading back today. We were
Okay.
here yesterday, kind of scoped out the area. We've been planning,
Meeting with the meeting
meeting
planners.
with the hotel, and
Got your pickleball in.
Yep.
she got pickleball in. I had client calls in, but she got,
Good
so we're
deal.
excited about it.
All
I'm
right.
slightly addicted to pickleball, which if you're addicted to pickleball, we'll play together while you're here.
My
There you go.
kids play pickleball, and they're in their 20s. They think it's the greatest thing ever invented.
Great.
And so all right.
Better dive in so you can play with them.
Yeah, I used to play
Yes.
pickleball before she was born. I played pickleball before people knew that it was a thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
But we hope to see. I know we're going to see you there.
Yes,
I know we're going to see you.
I'll be
here.
there. Yes,
I know.
absolutely.
And we're going to see a whole lot of our friends and folks, and we would love to meet new friends.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
So practice owners, just check it out, apdp.net. There's phone number, there's video, there's how to sign up for the event. And if you have any questions or anything that you can't find there, you can always reach out to me, steve@theprofitablедentist.com, and I'll direct you where you need to go. But I think it would be a well-spent weekend if you're a solo practice owner and private dentist and you want to stay that way and sort of get better at what you do. There are very few opportunities like this. So
it's a Thursday. Show up Thursday afternoon. You're home on Sunday. Do not leave early because you are going to want to hear this band.
Yeah, you want to be there.
So you can work till Thursday morning, show up Thursday afternoon. So you get Ryan Vett as our keynote Thursday evening, and then go home Sunday morning.
After Raw Nerve.
After Raw Nerve.
Which is an awesome name for a band, period. But
Bring
even
your
better,
80s big
Bring
hair,
your 80s
band
hair.
of dentists.
your
Yeah.
neon outfit.
Yeah.
We'll be there. All right.
Okay.
Deborah, Susan, good to see you. Practice
Good to
owner.
see you.
Thanks for listening in. And hopefully we'll see you in Fort Lauderdale, March 7th through the 9th.
See you there. Take care. Bye.
Bye.